Now, what place does religion have in American politics? Well, President Obama has been talking about the role of faith in his own life at the National Prayer Breakfast in Washington. He's created a new White House office to focus on fighting poverty and social injustice. More from our special correspondent, Philippa Thomas.
Mike, the faith-based office was created by Obama's Republican predecessor, George W. Bush. Now it's expanding under a fresh Obama face, the 26-year-old Pentecostal minister Joshua Dubois. And it's putting a new emphasis on social justice. First, let's hear from President Obama at the prayer breakfast.
I do believe that if we can talk to one another openly and honestly, and if perhaps we allow God's grace to enter into that space that lies between us, then the old rifts will start to mend. New partnerships will begin to emerge. In a world that grows smaller by the day, perhaps we can begin to crowd out the destructive forces of excessive zealotry and make room for the healing power of understanding.
We spoke to one of the faith leaders who met President Obama this morning. The Reverend Jim Wallis is the founder of Sojourners, which he describes as the largest network of progressive Christians in the United States. He told me what the new faith office hopes to achieve.
So we're going to look at how, for example, the recovery plan and the stimulus package should include low-income people. Don't leave out the poor. 2, how to make poverty a central goal of this administration. Also, how to reduce abortions. That's a common ground goal now here, very important. Fatherhood is going to be an initiative, how to promote good fatherhood. This is Obama's passion from his own history and all the rest. And then interfaith dialogue. I mean, the group was Jewish, Muslim, and Christian, all today. And we're going to say, how do we not just talk together, but do things together?
And I understand there might be a faith summit this April with President Obama and other world leaders.
In 2005, we had a faith summit preceding the G8 meeting in London or in Britain at Glen Eagles. And some of us are talking about doing that again to make sure that poor people are not left out of this global crisis and a recovery plan. I mean, in America, about 10 million more people are about to plunge into poverty. And I was in Davos last week at the World Economic Forum, and the fear there is whole continents could just fall off the agenda. So how do we make sure the focus isn't just how to protect the middle class, which is important, but how do we not let God's poor, what Jesus called the least of these, the most vulnerable people in the world, don't let them fall off the planet here. So some of us are talking about how to get that message out there before the G20 in London just in April.
Jim Wallis there, and if there is to be a faith summit in London this April, we'll be covering it for you here on BBC World News.